But the journey that led me here didn't start with a program. In many ways, it started very early in my life. As a child, I was extremely sensitive and I struggled deeply with the school system. I was diagnosed with ADHD, and throughout my childhood, I wrestled with anxiety, depression, and a constant feeling that I didn't quite fit. School often felt like a place where I was being evaluated rather than understood. I asked a lot of questions, and instead of that curiosity always being welcomed, it often made me feel like an outsider. Over time, I began turning inward. I started forming beliefs about myself that were incredibly damaging. I believed that something about me was broken. I believed I wasn't intelligent. There were times I wouldn't even study for exams because I had already convinced myself that I was inherently dumb. The structure of the system reinforced those beliefs. Constant grading, comparison between students, and measuring worth through test scores. And when I eventually moved through college and trade school, I began noticing something else. Many of the things we were taught were memorized for tests and quickly forgotten afterward. The system rewarded passing exams, but it rarely prepared people for the realities of adult life. When I graduated from trade school and entered the workforce, I experienced that disconnect firsthand. Recruiters had promised opportunities in the industry I trained for, but when I got out, those opportunities weren't there the way, we had been told. So I spent time navigating unemployment for almost over a year before I found work, trying different jobs, eventually going through interviews and learning how the real world actually works. Things no one had ever taught me in school. And during those years, I was in and out of different environments trying to find my place, and underneath all of it was the belief that had been planted early in my life. The belief that something about me was fundamentally broken. That belief affected my confidence. It affected the decisions I made, and it eventually led me into situations that brought a lot of pain and consequences into my life, including encounters with law enforcement and eventually time in rehab. There was a lot of suffering in those years, a lot of confusion, a lot of identity collapse. But those experiences also forced me to confront my life honestly. They forced me to begin asking deeper questions about who I was, how I had gotten there, and whether real change was possible. And eventually, that search led me to Alive and Free.